Hello everyone and welcome back to Dad's Diner and the Fab Feral 5 Kitchen. I'm going to go back in time to my childhood for this meal tonight. This was a go-to dish for us while I was growing up. We had this probably once every other week at least. And yes, I'm talking about oven fried chicken. The first step is to prepare the chicken, and I'll be using chicken thighs tonight. I like all cuts of chicken, but chicken thighs add that richness and that flavor that really lends itself well to a piece of fried chicken. Now I'm going old school. I'm doing it the way that my mom and dad used to do it, and that's a brown paper bag. I have about a third cup of flour and a little over a tablespoon of Lowry seasoning, and that goes right into the paper bag. This is going to be a quick preparation tonight. This is something my parents would have done after they got home from work, and so there's not going to be a whole dredging station set up. It's just that flour and seasoning, and let the chicken get coated with that seasoning and that flour. So as you can see, I'm going to drop in what I believe are 4 chicken thighs right into the paper bag. And here comes the magic and the mess. Now my opinion is they don't make paper bags the way they used to, because I don't recall a lot of excess flour being thrown around the kitchen when my mom and dad used to do it. But what you get as a result is a nicely coated, floured chicken thigh, or in the case of tonight, 4 chicken thighs. I probably would have been smart to wear my white apron tonight, but I guess it all goes in the wash, so it doesn't matter. So on the stovetop, I've got a cast iron pan heating up at about medium-high heat. I'm going to add, probably a 1/4 cup, maybe not even that much, of grapeseed oil. And that's going to be the base for my fry. It's already shimmery. The pan is perfectly hot. Now the idea of using a cast iron pan is that I'm going to go direct from the stovetop after I brown this chicken and right into the oven. I've got my oven preheating at 375, so it's ready to go. So I'm just going to drop this skin side down. To let this fry on the first side. I want to create a nice golden brown exterior before I pop it in the oven to finish cooking. Okay, these have been frying for about 5 to 7 minutes. They're starting to get golden brown on the bottom. You can see that. I would be okay if they were a little more brown. I started skin side down, so when I do the turn to brown the opposite side and then put them in the oven, the skin side will be up, and that will let the oven further darken the skin and make it more crispy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and flip these over now. You can see that the first side, the skin side, is nice and crispy. And now we'll give the second side a similar treatment in the pan. And then once this is ready to go, we'll pop it in the oven, 375. Okay, this has been going, I would say, about 12 or 15 minutes total now, both sides. You can see we're starting to get it a little bit browned on the bottom side as well. So what I'm going to do now is just move this pan right into the oven and bake this for probably about 30 minutes. Okay, while the chicken is cooking for about 30 minutes in the oven, I'm going to prep my side dishes. And so I have a handful of asparagus that I have cut and dried, and we'll do a saute in olive oil and some garlic, salt and pepper, as well as an ear of corn. And I've got a trick for this. What I've found is that if you wrap your ears in paper towel, and I'm using a double wrap paper towel here, and then drench the paper towel in water, and you can see it's really wet. Now for the first ear of corn, 2 minutes in a high microwave, and for each additional ear that you would put in there, an extra minute. And I found that it creates a crisp and juicy and perfectly cooked ear of corn. Also, I've got mashed potatoes that I prepped earlier before the meal on the stove, and I'll do a pan gravy for the top of the potatoes and maybe even the chicken. My chicken's been in the oven for about 15 minutes. I just checked the temperature. It's at about 140, 145 nearest to the bone. So I think we're about 10 minutes away from pulling it out of the oven. I've got my asparagus and olive oil sauteing in this pan over medium heat. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of garlic powder to this, a pinch of salt, and some black pepper. Another toss, and I'm just going to hit this with just a bit of water, not a whole lot of water, just enough to let it steam. And got my lid over here. Put the cover on this and let that cook. Once the chicken is finished cooking, I'll pull it out of the oven, put it on a plate to let it rest for a few minutes while I make the gravy in that same pan. Okay, the chicken is done. You can see that. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out of this pan and let it sit and rest on a plate. And let the carryover cooking do its job, as well as let the juices reincorporate into that chicken. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my burner here because I'm going to start making the gravy. The asparagus is getting a little bit crispy on the outside, which is exactly how I love it. When I put that little bit of water in there, that allowed it to cook through that steam, made it soft, but not too soft. And now it's starting to crisp up on the outside with that olive oil and garlic, so that's in good shape. My potatoes are ready to serve. So now it's just a matter of making the gravy. And so I'm going to deglaze this pan with some chicken broth. I also have a half a teaspoon of chicken bouillon just to give it some more flavor. And I've made a slurry of a heaping teaspoon of cornstarch along with equal parts of water, or equal part of water. And once this comes to a boil, I will incorporate that and let it thicken. I said boil, I meant simmer. I don't want it to boil, I just want it to be a nice simmer. Whoop, lost one. That's my tester. Looks like it's pretty close to being done. Okay, the asparagus is perfect. I almost forgot at the start my corn, because we are close to being ready to eat. I've got a simmer going on my stock and Deglazed pan here goes the cornstarch slurry. Turn down the heat just a little bit here. I want it just to be on the verge of simmer now that the cornstarch has thickened up the gravy. Looks really good. I'm going to give it a taste. A little bit thin, so I might need to let it simmer just for a moment. That tastes really good. If you've watched me at all, you know everything needs more pepper. Okay, so here is my corn. You can see, I mean, the microwave has done its job, right? So let me, that is hot. Woo! Give it an assist here with my tongs. But you can see how nicely cooked that is. So we'll just let that sit for a moment while we finish the gravy. And honestly, I think we're ready to plate. And there's our plate, topped off with a little bit of this chicken gravy. And dinner is served. And from Dad's Diner and the Fab Feral 5 Kitchen, order up!